Reggae Just Extra with Ras Dennis.
He was murdered by gunmen at his home in St. Catharines.
Love Jah is the beginning of wisdom. The knowledge of the creators.
The attackers smashed their way into the house while he was watching television with his wife Caro, shooting him dead and leaving the woman with bullet wounds.
Great light. The sun to rule by day.
This comes only a few weeks after the murder of dub poet Michael Smith. The murder of Prince Farai on September 15, 1983 was attributed to a robbery gone wrong, and the killers were never caught. But in recent times, Roy Cousins, his friend and producer of his last album, has said that Prince Farai was assassinated by gunmen who were working for the Volcano sound crew owned by legendary record producer Henry Junjo Laws.
I wouldn't pay the producer the balance of the money. That's why I'm killing him for. I didn't have to kill him for that.
This is the untold story of Henry Junjo Laws with Ras Dennis.
This one called Dub to Africa.
Henry Junjo Laws was the hottest reggae producer of the early part of the 1980s and the originator of the dancehall style that has dominated Jamaican music since the passing of Bob Marley in 1981. Such names as Yellowman, Eka Mouse, Barrington Livy, and Josie Wales all owed their careers to Laws. More established acts like John Holt, the Wailing Souls, Alton Ellis, and Ken Booth also enjoyed revivals after recording over his rhythm tracks for his Volcano label, released in Britain by Greensleeves Records, who put out 42 albums of his productions. With his pairing of the DJs Clint Eastwood and General Saint, he even reached the British charts. Junjo Laws' murder in a drive-by shooting in Harlesden, northwest London, reflects the uneasy relationship between music, crime, and politics that has long characterized the reggae business. Dancehall was a rough, immensely catchy street style of reggae, and Laws' ghetto credentials were impeccable. Born in 1960 in Olympic Way in the slums of West Kingston, he spent much of his youth in McCoy Lane in nearby Whitfield Town, locally known as Badman Territory. The neighborhood was the fiefdom of Jack Mossop, the father of Claudie Mossop, a ranking gunman for the Prime Minister Michael Manley's People's National Party, PNP, and an acquaintance of Bob Marley. Due to the efforts of the legendary record producer Bunny Striker Lee, who always keen to discourage local youth from such a potentially lethal existence, Laws turned away from following a similar career. In 1978, he began singing with the Grooving Locks Trio. The same year, however, he began to produce records, working first with Linval Thompson. Within 12 months, he had booked a series of sessions at Channel 1 Studio, employing the Roots Radix Group as backing band that were to alter the sound of Jamaican music. The tough sound of the Radix, who often employed old Studio One rhythms, was slower and more penetrating than the rockers' style of the Revolutionaries, Kingston's other dominant studio house band. Thanks to his street corner connections, Laws was assiduously adept at sizing and signing up the newest talent, and for these studio, he used the mixing desk skills of Houghton Brown, a young engineer who became famous under the sobriquet of Scientist, as a result, Barrington Livy's Bounty Hunter. Album which emerged from Channel 1 sessions came to be considered a classic. Laws worked successfully with several other reggae artists, such as Nicodemus, Ranking Toyin, Charlie Chaplin, Josie Wales, Eka Mouse, Michigan and Smiley, and Clint Eastwood. He also helped launch the careers of one of his most popular protégés, Frankie Paul's Pass the Tu Shing Ping, Coco T, and Michael Prophet. Laws discovered Billy Boyo in 1981 when he was just 12 years old, turning him into the teenage star of pre-digital dancehall. Laws revived the popularity of veterans such as John Holt's Police and Helicopter, The Wailing Souls, Don Carlos, Hugh Mundell, Junior Mavin, Johnny Osborne, and the astonishingly extraordinary Yellowman, who released 16 albums between 1982 and 1983, recorded several of them for Laws, including the classic Mr. Yellowman. Junjo defined dancehall in its pre-digital phase with his raw, street-level sound and use of pre-existing rhythms virtually. To combat the indifference of Jamaican radio programmers, in 1983 Laws launched his Volcano sound system. Using his own unlimited supply of dub plates, Volcano became Jamaica's top sound system, playing almost nightly all over the island. Playing the part of benevolent despot that is the stance of every ghetto youth striving for what in Jamaica is known as donship, Laws was known for the uncharacteristic financial respect with which he would treat his artists. However, he had a dark side. He was accused of having a hand in the death of Prince Far-I. The summer of 1983 was a violent one for Jamaica. Michael Smith, the dub poet, was stoned to death for speaking about the system. Hugh Mundell was shot to death after complaining about a robbery at his home. Then in September, at his home in St. Catherine, Prince Far-I had just finished working on his album Untold, Spear of the Nation, and went home. Later on, that evening, he went outside to have some fresh air. He noticed two men standing across the street but didn't suspect anything, and when he was done, he went inside to watch TV with his wife, and he had barely come into the door when the two men followed him in. They forced him to lay down on the floor. The men opened fire, killing Prince Far-I. The murder of Prince Far-I was attributed to a robbery gone wrong, and the killers were never caught. But in recent times, Roy Cousins, his friend and producer of his last album, has said that Prince Far-I was assassinated by gunmen who were working for the Volcano sound crew owned by Junjo Laws. According to Roy Cousins, his friend's death was a fallout of an incident that had occurred a few days before the shooting. Prince Far-I had booked Volcano sound system to play at an event that he was promoting, and he paid an advance fee and was supposed to pay the balance after the show, but during the event, Junjo Laws' wife, who was a member of a gang that operated at that area, picked a fight with somebody in the crowd and brought the show to a sudden end. This angered Prince Far-I, who in turn decided not to pay Volcano's crew the balance of their money. Upon hearing the incident, Junjo Laws decided to send a deadly message that his business was not one to be trampled with. It was said that two hitmen from the Volcano were sent to take care of Prince Far-I. Being one of the notorious enforcers and gunmen of PNP political party before venturing into the music business, Laws was linked to the Jamaica drug cartel popularly known as Shower Posse while he was still involved in the music. Upon moving to New York City in 1985, he ran into problems with the law due to his involvement with criminal fraternities and the Shower Posse group. He spent several years in jail. By the time he was released from prison and returned to Jamaica in 1991, the sound of dancehall had been radically altered by the rise of all-electronic production, Reggae. Still, Junjo worked again with familiar artists like Coco T, Josie Wales, and Yellowman, as well as with new artists like the gun-praising Ninja Man and more cultural Shaka Shamba. But he was unable to recreate his early success like in the early part of his career, and he moved to London toward the end of the 1990s. There, sadly, he was shot to death in June 1999 in a case that remains unsolved. He had been based for 2 years, only to become another victim of the escalating violence between drug dealers. That's all we got for you in this episode, and thanks for watching. Do remember to subscribe, give it a like, and post a positive comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you again very soon for another crucial video.
Many thanks for watching Reggae Just Extra with Ras Dennis.